Adam, we're talking about Arizona and how fast that kind of all came about. The partnerships were rapid. We know that the law, basically, the ink wasn't even dry. We started hearing about deals that were getting done. We know that there's deals with the racetrack there. We know TPC Scottsdale. We know the Suns, the Mercury. We know that everybody is partnering up there so that these guys can get access to that state. It looks like we are starting to at least look like maybe we have an idea of who all is going to be able to get in, because almost all of the partnerships have been taken at this point. What are we looking at there in Arizona?
Well, that's the interesting part here, is that we've had now nearly double-digit partnerships announced, and yet we haven't handed out a license yet. So there's no guarantee that everybody announcing a partnership gets a license, although you would think that would be the case. But the licensing process is ongoing here on August 4th with a planned September 9th launch. Twin Spires finds its partner with the Tonto Apache tribe, and that now means that, let's make sure I have this accurately, Bally's, Barstool, Caesars, DraftKings, FanDuel, Kindred, PointsBet, WynnBET, along with Twin Spires, are into the Arizona market. There are 20 total licenses to be handed out in Arizona, 10 between teams or professional sports organizations and sports books, 10 for tribal gaming interests. Now, there is a process in place if there are more than 20 applicants for sports betting in Arizona. We don't know if that will be the case yet. 20 has shown in most jurisdictions to be a pretty high amount of licenses. It is a fairly accessible market. You're looking at a 10% tax on mobile sports betting revenue, so it's not a market that is going to cost a lot to get into, and it does have all 4 professional sports teams and pretty thriving spring training and visitation, so lots of ways to potentially skin that cat in Arizona, and it'll be interesting to see if we get all the way up to 20 announced before the licensing is done.
Dustin, I know that the original target was to have everything up and running by football season down there in Arizona. We sit here August 4. We know that football season starts in a month. Does that seem possible to you now that we know that we have all these partnerships? Yeah, but as Adam just mentioned, ain't nobody got a license right now.
Yeah, I mean, officials doubled down recently, saying they're going to hit the September 9th deadline of trying to launch sports betting. So, I mean, I guess that we have to listen to them until we're presented with information to the contrary. But yeah, it's wild that we don't even know who's licensed. Like, you're just apparently, you're gonna depend that that these applicants who are vetted in other states are vetted to your specifications, and that you're okay with what is already gone, and you're just piggybacking on what other people have done, because there is not going to be some great regulatory vetting process here on any sportsbook that's launching in U.S. And maybe it isn't needed, but it's very different from what we've seen in any other state, that there is a long run up from law and regulation to actually launching, other than Indiana, which I think we see it was one of the fastest in several months from law to launch. So yeah, I guess it's wild to me that it seems it's going to happen. I guess I'm still a little bearish that they do that, because like you said, there is a lot to still do in Arizona to get there. But that's what they're telling us is September 9th you're going to have online sports betting in Arizona, or some sort of sports betting.
Adam, going back to one of the things that you said about Arizona, which I think is something that I've thought about as well, but I want to drive it home here because you mentioned it. But with Arizona, it is one of those kind of like under the radar kind of guy tourist attraction places, with all the golf courses there in Scottsdale, and you mentioned the pro sports teams that are there in Phoenix. The Phoenix airport is also a hub for a couple of different airlines as well, so there could be people who are just sitting in a layover who might decide that they want to get in on some action or something like that. I think whenever we look at Arizona, and the population doesn't just jump off the page to you, and when you talk about major cities, there isn't a whole there isn't a slew of major cities or something like that in Arizona, but I do think kind of an under the radar market here that might do some numbers that end up surprising some people, especially again, I keep saying this, but with DraftKings having a sports book at one of these destination golf courses where people are going to be going and spending 2 and 3 days and all that, I think there could be some interesting numbers come out of Arizona.
Without question, and also keep in mind that the Glendale area, the part of the Phoenix Valley, is in the regular rotation for both the Super Bowl and the college football playoff national championship. So that being the case, you have big draw events. And Matt, I'll throw something back to you because it's only a half-hour drive from Henderson, where I live, over the Hoover Dam. If folks who are in Las Vegas want to be able to get some action on certain sports books that they're not able to access here in Nevada, that will definitely be available in Arizona.
Listen, I know idiots who drive like to California to get in daily fantasy lineups and able who are, so that they can do that legally. And I can only imagine that some idiots are going to be possibly heading across the border down there to take advantage of some of these offerings that we do not get here in Nevada. And, full disclosure here, we'll pull back the curtain a little bit. I have flown to Denver and done 24 hours in Denver to go and take advantage of, certain things that have gone on during the NFL season and things like that. And now the fact that I don't have to get on an airplane and fly to Colorado and will be able to just make that drive across the border, I think there will be a lot of people who do that. I mean, listen, we talk about the people that live here, and when New Jersey market opened, I personally knew of a lot of people who were kind of flying back and forth between Vegas and Jersey to take advantage of the two different offerings and stuff. Now, a lot of those people either go to Colorado now or have even just relocated up to Colorado to have all the various offers. But I do think that you're going to see some of these guys out here now that it is a drive, like you said, just right down the road. And with NFL only being once a week, it's not one of those things where it's like that crazy of a deal to be like, I'll take off on a Saturday afternoon or a Saturday morning and drive down there. And, yeah, it takes 2 hours for me, 30 minutes down there, maybe an hour to do the bets and 30 minutes back. Like 2 hours out of your day is not like the craziest thing in the whole world to go down there and take advantage of what are certain to be awesome sign-up bonus offers, the free bets, the match bets, all the different things like that you see that these guys offer. So, yeah, I'm with you 100%. I think people are going to do it.
Well, it'll be fascinating to watch, and I think we'll start to hear those stories come around pretty quickly in Nevada among the circles that you and I run in.
Yeah. And I mean, Caesars alone. We didn't even talk about this. Caesars has rolled out a $5,000 risk-free bet, right? Like you could say, oh, $5,000 free. I could go get on a plane and do that just for that. Like half-hour drive across the border to Arizona, if and when Caesars launches. Sure, and that's just one of we talk about these. It's it's a great if you're a customer who doesn't already have accounts and all these things. It's no brainer if you're in Nevada.
I know
to go
we
sign
say it
up
all
for
the
all
time.
these.
We try not to talk. Yeah, we try not to talk about the sign up. Yeah, I mean the sign up stuff and on this, but really, it really is like with all that stuff. It's just enticing to, especially for people who aren't used to getting all of that stuff. Certainly worth doing.